What up, y'all? Daily Q. We back. Jerron Eichner here. Powered by Quasar Cult. Starstruck Multimedia. And we out here doing stuff. Going live on multiple channels. We're going live on YouTube, I think. We're also going live on TikTok if you want to follow us on TikTok. And then we're live on Facebook, of course, which is where we always talk our crap. We're gonna go ahead and get into this because we don't like doing intros. We just like talking. We like getting into this. This is how we roll. We're gonna talk about first of all GTA 6. If you're in the loop and you've been paying attention, then you know, or maybe you don't know. I don't know. It's not my responsibility for what you know. But GTA 6 footage has leaked. And when I say that GTA footage has leaked, I'm talking like a Gang Agrippa hella lot of footage. A GTA 6 has leaked. There are several, I think there's like 2 hours worth of footage out there on the internet. Just like all over the place. If you just go on TikTok or whatever your social media of choice is, you will find that it is freaking everywhere right now, which is crazy. And what's interesting about it is that the feedback that I'm seeing from these people are literally people being like, "Oh, it looks terrible. It looks like they just reskinned GTA 5." And it's like, dude, first of all, y'all stole this footage. You know what I'm saying? Like, you took my unfinished product and you made it what it was. Okay. I don't know why I looked all stretched out on Facebook, but y'all just have to deal with that. That's just how we're rolling. I think the algorithm's trying to screw me on this one, but it's fine because we're still recording this, and this will be up on YouTube later on. You just have to deal with my squished face on YouTube. Sorry, on Facebook. It is what it is. But anyways, the GTA footage looks pretty crazy to me. I think that for what we are expecting, I think it looks good. I think that first of all, this game's not done, and it probably won't be done for another couple years, in my opinion. I don't think they even announced the release date, have they? It'll be a long time before this game even comes out. And so the fact that someone like hacked into the Matrix, bloop, 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 click, clack, click, 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 and then went in ahead and just stole it is kind of wild to me. I mean, I get it because that free, delicious clout that's on the table that you can get from the movie or from the game and just by putting it out. And, I think the leaker is currently holding the footage hostage right now in the extra footage. I guess he has more footage. Allegedly, he has footage of Bully 2. That's what I'm reading on the rumor mill. He also has stuff from a couple different things that he has going on here. So apparently this dude just like hacked into the Rockstar server and just stole like all kinds of stuff. And then he immediately leaked the GTA 6 footage. Rockstar responded, and now they got dude out here basically holding the rest of the stuff ransom, saying that, hey, pay me some money and then I'll just give you back the footage. I don't even know how that really works, because you know that he made copies of it. Even if he does give back the footage, you know that he has the copies on his server, and he's gonna hold on to that for the foreseeable future. So it's gonna be interesting to see, like, is Rockstar gonna be like, oh, let's give this guy money so he doesn't leak our footage for Bully 2 or whatever. It's kind of wild. We live in wild times where you can actually hold companies ransom based off the data that you steal off of their information, which is a whole other topic. That's not what we're talking about today. We're not talking about that aspect today, although we maybe should, because it's a whole thing out there. But the point of the matter is that this hacker went ahead, hacked into Rockstar, and stole all the data from all these different servers, put out the GTA 6 footage. Now we have an idea and a feel and a vibe of what GTA 6 is going to kind of look like. It's confirmed that there's going to be a female protagonist. That's confirmed in the footage. There's also some white dude that you get to be, just like some white guy. I don't even know what that's about. It just looks like some, regular old blonde white dude. And then this is a lot of footage of them driving around the city. I think there's some footage of Vice City being confirmed. It's a lot of juicy stuff that got leaked in this stuff. So someone's going to get fired. That's 100% for sure. Someone's about to lose their job. Whoever that is, responsible for, I guess, data security. I don't know. He's about to lose a job, though. That's wild. Pretty crazy stuff. But if you've seen the GTA 6 footage, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you guys are going to cop GTA 6. I mean, obviously you are. Who's not? If you're not going to cop GTA 6, you're probably not a fan of video games. But chances are you're gonna cop it. So, I'm gonna cop it. You could go ahead and drop the pre-order link right now, and I'm gonna cop it. But it's just interesting because, like, yeah, I said, like, the whole feedback right now, people are like, "Oh, this looks so mid. It looks so terrible," and it's like, y'all need to just shush, man. Let these people work. Y'all been asking for this game for damn near 5, 6, 7 years now, and just because it doesn't look the way that you want it to look, you guys are all mad and tight about it. It's a little wild. It's a little wild. I don't really have much to say about that other than this is wild. But moving on, I actually went to go see The Woman King this weekend, and I actually really, really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a fantastic movie from top to bottom. I thought the fight scenes were incredible. I thought the story was great. I thought the acting was awesome. I thought the cinematography was fantastic. The soundtrack was fire. They had dance sequences in there that went off. They had the tension. Everything about this movie was actually pretty great. Then it comes to find out that, like, I get home and I'm like looking up about this movie and like trying to like learn about it and stuff. And it turns out that like there's just like a whole boycott behind this movie. And me being the man who I am, I start to do my research, my little clickety clacking, and I start diving deep. And it turns out there's a massive boycott being propelled behind this movie. A lot of the boycott has to do with the fact that I guess this movie is not quote unquote historically accurate, quote unquote, in the sense that the movie itself focuses on the Dahomey tribe in Africa, and the Dahomey tribe was actually a major part of the slave trade in terms of like them going around and actually taking over other tribes, taking their people and selling them to the Europeans in the transatlantic trade. And this movie doesn't necessarily touch on that. You know what I'm saying? Well, it does, but the issue that people are having is that basically like the Oloje warriors, basically, you know, the female warrior clan that Vivica Viola Davis is the leader of, essentially they were the ones back in the day going around actually snatching up these black folk and bringing them back for the European slave trade. And in the beginning of the movie, it's actually implied that that's what they're doing, right? Because if you've seen the movie, you probably haven't seen the movie yet, because I think it did like 20 mil last week, so you probably haven't seen it yet. So I'm gonna give you a quick spoiler. But the movie starts off with them going in and taking a tribe and then snatch up a bunch of people and then bringing them back home. Immediately after this, there's a sequence where we see Viola Davis talking to John Boyega, and she's like, you know, this whole slave thing, we shouldn't do this. We should sell palm oil instead. And so they definitely touch on the issue, right? But you know, the historical context is that the Dahomey, as far as I know, historically speaking, never actually stopped selling their own people into slavery. This was an ongoing thing. There was a point in time where the Dahomey tried to do palm oil instead of slavery, but they realized that you make a lot more money selling people than you do with palm oil. So they went back to slavery. But at the end of the movie, spoiler, she becomes a woman king, obviously, because it's the title of the fucking movie. And she, you know, it's implied that because she's the woman king that things are going to change, and that, you know, the slavery, at least in that region, is over, maybe. It's kind of implied, but it's like, none of that happened. And so a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are like, oh man, this movie is not historically accurate. They're making these people seem like heroes, etc., so forth, for the sake of female empowerment. But for me, dog, I thought it was a very enjoyable film. I just enjoyed the movie for what it was and what it had to offer, which was a good time. I actually told my wife that when we got out, I actually wish the movie was longer, because the movie's only 2 hours and 15 minutes, which, you know, it's pretty long for a movie. But the issue that I have with the film is that there's a lack of critical character development for certain roles. And it actually feels like when you watch this movie that they definitely cut out some things for time. It felt like, oh man, we gotta cut this out, because there's a couple of beats that are like, oh, you know, that didn't hit quite the way it should have, and it's probably because of time. But, you know, me being my film nerd ass that I am, I decided to also go ahead and look up the writer for this film. And this writer is, you know, she's a white person. She's a white chick. And I guess the story is that, you know, this producer white chick basically took a trip to Africa back in 2015 and visited like some museums, went to go check out some tribes, learned a lot about the Dahomey clan, and then decided to take one of their stories and go back home and try to pitch it. Now, this is like before Black Panther really started getting going. And so she was trying to pitch this movie to different people. And basically, essentially, like everybody was like, nah, we don't want this movie about these African women killing Europeans. We don't want that, basically. Justifiably so, I think, from a studio perspective. I think pitching that doesn't quite make sense. But then Black Panther came out, and they're like, oh, we need more of this, right? And so this is where it gets weird, because instead of, tapping like a Ryan Coogler or even like a Kenya Barris or something like that, they went ahead and got this white chick who's like a friend of the producer who wrote the script. So this highly African influenced movie that's just black to the core, has authentic African music, wardrobe, all kinds of stuff. This movie is like just black to the core. All came from the brain of a white woman. And that bothers me a little bit. Not a lot of bit, because I get it. And someone made a comment on my post when I made a post about this on Facebook yesterday. Made a comment saying basically, hey, just because a person is white doesn't mean they can't speak on the culture, right? Fair enough. I mean, it's very Rachel Dolezal type area. Rachel Dolezal, if you guys don't remember her, she was a chick that was white and pretended she was black, and she went into the NAACP. It was like the head of the NAACP in her city, and then it turned out that she was like not black, and so now she lives in Tucson, apparently, like down the street, which is wild. But I digress. The vibe is weird. It's just a weird vibe, because it's like these two white women essentially were like they went to Africa and then got the story, and they're like, oh, we need to let all these white people know about this story, right? Because America is mostly white, whether you like it or not. And so with that in mind, though, it's like, how do you pitch that without having black people involved in that process? The other fucked up part about it is that once they got this movie kind of greenlit and kind of moving, I use the word ambush because I think that's actually kind of how it went down. They essentially ambushed Viola Davis while she was receiving an award on stage. Like, she was receiving an award for something entirely different. The producer approached her while on stage and basically pitched her this movie in front of a whole audience. And the entire audience basically was just like, oh shit, this movie sounds amazing. We need to make this. And then, everybody cheered and clapping. And then she essentially, I guess, signed on to the role right there. But she was pressured on stage to basically, take this role with cameras and all kinds of shit in her face. It gets kind of, when you actually, kind of pick apart this movie, which, by the way, once again, I think the movie is fantastic. And I actually think it's a must-watch. I believe that, especially if you're black, go watch this movie. It's fan-fucking-tastic. I love this film. It's great. But when you start to pick things apart a little bit, it's a little messy. And so I understand why there's a boycott in the works for this film. I don't accept it necessarily, but I understand it. I 100% understand why this boycott exists. I understand why people are upset about it. I get all of that. And you know what? Do what you need to do. But at the same time, I think you're also depriving yourself of a very well put together 98% black movie that is just really, really good. And the thing about this movie is that the success of this movie dictates and opens up the doors for more of this type of movie. Whether it's black led or white led or Latino written or whatever, it opens up the door for more of this stuff, right? So that's why I'm like, go support this movie. Go support this movie. They might have got some of the facts wrong. They might have did a little Braveheart situation and made it so that the good guy should not have necessarily been the good guy. But if you remove all these little details from the film, you still have yourself a very fantastic film, and you should go watch it. That's my little review of this. That's probably the only review you'll get from me on this. I might clip this up and put this out on other channels, but that's my thoughts on The Woman King. That's my thoughts on the controversy. That's my thoughts on all that. So we're going to move on because we're trying to keep this under 20 minutes for the sake of y'all. I know you got stuff to do. I know you got places to be. So I want to talk about cutting through the fog. Cutting through the fog. This is a conversation that I have with just about every artist that I've ever worked with on a consultation or creative tip, right? And I've said this multiple fucking times in all my videos. So this is not new information, but we're just kind of rehashing this and saying it in new ways because that's how information works. Cutting through the fog. Every day, right now, today, when you woke up, there were 60,000 brand new songs on Spotify. 60,000. Last time I did this post, it was like 40,000, but the number's gone up. So 60,000 songs every single day on Spotify. Quick math. Let me bust out my calculator real quick. 60 times 365 is 21,000 songs. Almost 22,000 songs come out. That doesn't sound right. Hold up. Let me actually use the right number here. 60,000. Add a couple extra zeros. Sorry there. Oh, my bad. That is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 21 million. That's a lot. It's a lot bigger number. I forgot to add the zeros. 21 million songs are coming out a year. A year. Every year. Just from people like you watching this. People like whoever. Every single day. And so a lot of the things is coming down to how do you break through the static? How do you get yourself known? How do you get people to hear your music? And what I've been telling people recently is that it's actually not even about the music anymore. It's about a couple of key factors. And I'm going to try and break this down to you the best way I can with the time that I have. One of the key factors is consistency. And I would actually say consistency is probably the most important factor that you can do. You know what I'm saying? Just being consistent and dropping content all the time. Going back to my second one, content. And when I say content, I think this is where a lot of musicians get confused because they feel that, oh, well, I'm putting out music, right? That's my content. I have content. I'm dropping songs. I'm dropping music videos. But music is not content by itself, right? Mostly because of the fact that, to me, the definition of content is consumable, packageable material that can be delivered to you without you seeking it out, right? And this is mostly a social media thing that I'm talking about, in the sense that, TikTok, all these reels, YouTube shorts, all this stuff, these are content machines, right? And in order to create content on these machines, there's actually multiple factors involved. Back in the day, early on Instagram, yes, you could just post a photo, right? Or you could just post a link to your song on Facebook, right? And those things worked how they're supposed to. But now it's about the content creation, right? Having a package around not only your song, but your aesthetic as a person. So it's like, okay, who am I, right? Who the fuck is Jerron Eichner? A lot of people know me as a filmmaker. They know me as a director. They know me as a writer, a show promoter, graphic designer. I'm known for a wealth of different things. And honestly, I could be a lot better about showcasing my content to people, which is why I'm even going live right now on 3 different channels so I can, try to spread my content and who I am more. Because I realize that, yes, I am talented as hell, right? I can make movies, I can do all this stuff, but the talent only gets you so far, especially in 2022. In order to get over the hump now, it's not about talent per se. It's all about your content and your consistency and connection. The 3 C's, which I just made this up right now: content, consistency, and connection. Your content has to be relevant to who you are as a person. You can't just be out here just downloading other people's TikToks and throwing your shit on it. Well, I mean, I guess you could do that, but that's moralistically sound and it might be illegal. So, creating content that's in line with you, right? Once you have that content created, you have to be consistent in delivering it, right? That means daily, weekly, whatever it is, you have to be consistent about it. You don't have to drop every day. I think that's a big misconception that a lot of people have, is that, oh, I gotta, because Gary V's out here like, oh, I'm Gary V. Look how rich I am. I'm rich because I'm out here and I put out like 100 pieces of content a day. I'm crazy. Yeah, but Gary Vee's also rich, and he also has 5 videographers following him around all the time forever. He doesn't touch a fucking keyboard or do any of that himself. So I be saying fuck Gary Vee sometimes because people don't really understand that, like, a lot of these artists, like niggas like me, are doing this by ourselves, right? Or a very small team around us. We don't have 45 dudes with cameras and 18 different angles with microphones everywhere recording all this content. And so you have to really find a way to fall into a pattern that is comfortable for you, that fits your motif. And the thing is that a lot of people force shit, right? They try to force that square peg into a round hole, where it's like, oh man, I see so and so doing that. Maybe I should do some of that because he's doing that and that's working out well for him. And it's like, no, that's gonna fail for you because it's not genuine. And as social media and all this stuff becomes more and more relevant than actual like real media at this point, social media swayed a whole fucking election, right? As things get more and more relevant, the social media stuff, people are gonna be able to see through that bullshit. People can see if you're being fake. People can see if you're over here chasing someone else's trend or doing all that. That's becoming more and more clear. And so, going back to cutting through the fog, right, to put a circle on this, it's all about not necessarily standing out, but standing beside yourself in a way that is genuine. Because like I said, a lot of people be grasping at straws. They be throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks because they see trends. And I think that's part of it is TikTok that fucks that up because, you know, you go on TikTok and you see people doing the floss and all kinds of stuff. And you're like, oh, you know, I should do the floss too because this guy did the floss and he has 5 million views. So maybe if I do the floss, I'm going to get famous too. And you see this like constant cycle of people like chasing other people's trends. The best thing you could do is create your own trend. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that you need to go viral and create your own dance move and have people doing the bop, right? You don't need to do all that, right? What you need to do is create something that connects to your fans. Doesn't matter how small they are. If you got 10 motherfuckers that will ride for you, like 10, that's all you really need. You can get very, very far in this game. But you need 10. And I say 10 because I think about the exponential growth on that. If you get 10 people and get all them to get that to fuck with you, to get 5 people, you know what I'm saying? And you continue that. Offer incentives, offer t-shirts, offer merch, offer show concert tickets, offer free beats, offer stuff to these people so they have an incentive to help you. This is basically how crowdfunding works. You know what I'm saying? If you go on like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, this is really how this works, right? Like you go on there and you see so-and-so is making a movie and they're like, oh, give me $10 and you'll get a copy of that movie or whatever, right? And people pay that because there's incentive involved. And so a lot of it too, to once again put a wrap on this because I'm going over my time, incentivizing your fan base and giving them something that other people can't get. Like if you're outside looking into the world of your artistry and you're not like a fan, I'm looking at just artists and I'm just seeing like what that fan's doing or that artist is doing. And it's like, oh yeah, he's cool. He's got some beats. He's doing his things, bopping. I'm not a fan though, because I haven't gotten to his world yet. I haven't popped his bubble or got inside his bubble, right? But he's cool. I fuck with him. But if you're inside that bubble, inside that artist world, it's lit in there. You're getting emails and videos and you're getting like free merch contests and maybe even opportunities to make money. Concert tickets, all kinds of stuff that's inside that bubble. And the idea is to make those people inside the bubble want to bring people inside too. Like, yo, come inside this bubble. It's popping over here. So-and-so's got it, giving out $10 per post or something like that. Incentivizing. And you also have to, I keep extending my time on this, but you also have to think about niching down too. Because I think everybody is always trying to do the moonshot, where it's like, oh man, I'm gonna go and try to just run an ad across the world and let people in India feel my music. Nah, what you should do is niche down. And this is why data is so important. Because if you're crunching the numbers on your data, on your Instagram account and on your analytics and on your Spotify, and you actually pay attention to where your traffic's coming from, in terms of like the people, like where they live and all that, information is where you start targeting, right? If you know that you're getting 50 plays in Buffalo, New York, right? You should be running an ad in Buffalo, New York. And if you also know that those 50 people like Kanye West, then you should be running an ad at Buffalo, New York for people who like Kanye West, right? Instead of being like, I'm going to run an ad for you in the entire United States and just hope people randomly see my face on the ad are going to make them want to click. No, target the people who already fuck with you. Because if the content is good, they'll share it. And this is how you start to organically build your fans. This is how you organically start to spread your word. This is how you organically start to crack through the fog. Because when you do drop that song, that during those 60,000 songs a day, right? And you're able to cut through that fog because you have a strong fan base that's going to help you push you through that fog, right? And that's a secret. This is something I've done time and time again. So I'm not like over here like making shit up. I did this with The Setting Sun, my last album. I did it with The Bond. I did it with a lot of my stuff. I don't have a lot of fans. And there's a big misconception that a lot of people have about me because they see like some of my numbers or whatever. They're like, oh, you must have thousands of fans. You must make a shit ton of money. No, I actually don't. I have probably like a couple thousand fans like that I know rock with me. And even out of those couple thousand fans, I would say only a couple hundred of them are like hardcore, Jerron Eichner, ride or die. I would do support everything that you do fans, right? And I can do better about activating those fans. I did it for The Bond. I did a good job at that, but I can do better. I can give them incentives. I can give them t-shirts. I can give them merch. I can give them shout outs on my videos and all this stuff. This is basically what Patreon is, right? But if you like kind of personalize the Patreon method in terms of your artistry, you can really capitalize on that in ways that you might not even think about. You know what I'm saying? This is a good place to stop. I'm talking too much. I love you all. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on TikTok, thank you. If you're watching on Facebook, thank you. I don't even think this went live on YouTube. If it did, thank you for watching on YouTube. But this video will be up on YouTube anyways because we actually press record this time. Good for me. Shout out or thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, all the stuff that we have to tell you guys to do at the end of the video so you guys will actually do it. Appreciate that. One love. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to try and keep this daily. I'm trying to be better about this. This is what I'm talking about with the consistency, right? Like I got the other two locked down. I got the connection, I got the content, but my consistency is not as good as it should be. Trying to do better. Y'all can help me with that by supporting me, giving me likes, giving me comments, all that stuff. One love. Peace out. We'll see you all soon. Take care. Wash your hands.